Hey guys! Welcome to the Turkish series Stars channel. All the fresh whispers and heartfelt revelations are in this video, and trust me, today's scoop will keep you glued to every second. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and share this video before we dive in, because what you're about to hear has the entire entertainment world holding its breath. Thank you for being here and for supporting us, because nights like this are made for true fans. The gossip universe is trembling again, and the reason is none other than Ozan Akbaba's bare, unfiltered honesty. In his latest sit-down, the celebrated actor let a single sentence slip that crashed through timelines and took over the discussion: "I only fell in love with Sinem." One line, one name, and suddenly every rumor, every doubt, every whispered question scattered like birds at dawn. The spotlight, as if called by fate, swung straight to Sinem, and it hasn't left her since. For years, Ozan has walked through acclaimed roles, scene partners, and red carpet moments with a calm grace that fueled fascination. He has worked beside many, charmed many, and captivated millions. But in this latest conversation, he pressed pause on all the noise and spoke about love with a certainty that turned the room silent. He didn't decorate it. He didn't gild it. He simply chose the truth. "I've passed through many seasons, felt many storms," he said, "but love, the kind that answers when you call it, belongs to Sinem." Those words rippled outward through every gossip corner, imprinting themselves on a night already thick with speculation. The timing left everyone gasping. This confession arrived after whispers of emotional distance, of schedules pulling them apart, of cold winds moving silently through the halls of their story. And yet, like a single match in a darkened room, his admission lit everything up. The very narrative people thought they knew was rewritten in an instant, and the ending they feared seemed to dissolve into thin air. Their journey has long been the kind of tale only television seems to promise, except this one didn't stop at cut, print, or wrap. Ozan Akbaba and Sinem carried a spark on set that felt too honest to be contained by scripts. Viewers sensed it. They saw it in the unguarded glances, in the natural rhythm of their scenes, in the quiet after a line lands and truth hangs between two people. What started as crafted chemistry matured into that rare bond fans often praise real and almost never is. With them, it was. They chose, however, a path that made the tabloids restless: privacy. They protected their moments, kept cameras at the margins, and let their connection grow beyond the flash of the frame. That silence, that deliberate stillness, created a vacuum the rumor mill gladly tried to fill. Were they distancing? Were they hitting a wall? Were the smiles in photos just polite poses for the crowd? Every week brought a new theory, a new dramatic twist written by people who weren't in the room. And then, as if tired of watching strangers build castles out of echoes, Ozan opened the window and let the truth speak for itself. He only fell in love with Sinem. There it was. No spin, no theatrics, only the kind of clarity that leaves gossips blinking and fans in tears. Across social media, the reaction was immediate. The post count shot upward. Clips of the interview gathered millions of views in hours. Comment sections glowed with shock and relief. The words were simple, but they landed like a vow: direct, steady, unmistakable. People called it brave. They called it romantic. They called it the kind of confession that makes you remember why you started believing in on-screen love stories in the first place. Some said it felt like the oldest story in the world told in a new way: boy meets girl on set, magic appears, and reality quietly invites them both to stay. As for Sinem, she didn't rush to microphones, and she didn't trim the moment to fit a headline. She has always preferred to guard her inner life, to let her work ring loud and her feelings rest where they are strongest, inside. But those who orbit close to her whispered that the words reached her, softened her breath, and set a private smile on her lips. No statements, no captions, no declarations of her own, just that soft, knowing smile, the kind that looks like a secret kept between two people and remembered by both. Friends of the couple insist there's no storm brewing in their home, no frost creeping under the door. They say the opposite, the bond isn't just intact, it's grown roots. The ordinary, everyday strength is there, the kind you only notice when the world grows loud and you keep choosing each other anyway. In a scene obsessed with fleeting sparks, there's keeps learning how to become a steady flame. In this business, nothing shakes the room like an unguarded heart. And that's exactly what Ozan brought to the table. The entertainment world doesn't always reward vulnerability, but the confession didn't just bounce off the walls, it carved a space of its own. For some, it was a headline. For others, it was a promise. For fans who have followed their scenes, their glances, and their silence, it felt like a confirmation. The gossip columns tried to triangulate 1,000 narratives, Ozan gave them one. He has always been the kind to move like water through the noise, graceful, measured, focused on the craft instead of the chatter. But in this moment, he chose to lean into the humanity behind the roles. He rewound the tape of his life and pressed play on the only chapter that mattered in that question, love, and the answer he found spelled Sinem. With those few words, questions that have been buzzing for years, are they drifting? Are they pretending, faded like mist at sunrise? Because sometimes the clearest thing you can do is say it, and say it once. Their first spark, of course, came under the bright watch of sets and scripts. On camera, the connection was undeniable. Off camera, it found a place to breathe. Their scenes had timing that looked effortless, truth that seemed uncoached, and a playfulness that signaled two people talking in a language that felt distinct from the dialogue. Fans spotted it quickly. They didn't need an official stamp to imagine the outline of something real forming in the background. But privacy can be an invitation for the loudest voices to make the most dramatic guesses. Life became a stage within a stage. Every neutral post was treated like a clue, every separate event like a cipher. Even a skipped event could set the rumor factory into overtime. Yet it was always the same story written many different ways, the suggestion that quiet means trouble. And then here comes Ozan, calm as you like, pushing back with the gentlest of truths. He didn't argue. He didn't scold. He didn't even reference the rumors. He simply named the place where his heart lives, with Sinem. When the interview aired, feeds lit up. Editors clipped the sentence and set it to music. Fans watched, replayed, and sent it to friends with messages that said, finally. Those who doubted softened. Those who hoped felt seen. Because we all understand the message inside that line. That when the dust settles and the lights go down, what matters is the person you love and the courage to admit it without conditions. Beyond the screens, you could almost hear a sigh run through the industry. The couple who chose restraint over spectacle had just stepped into the conversation on their terms. Their love story, which began in the choreographed rhythms of a set and then slipped into real life with an unhurried grace, proved itself once more. Not through an engagement shot, not through a staged reveal, but through a sentence strong enough to carry the weight of their journey. Of course, not everyone can resist trying to read between lines that are already bold. Some tried to fold this moment back into the rumor loop. But the sound of those voices is quieter this week. The confession is bigger. The feeling is bigger. The way fans talk about them is softer now, more certain. The narrative has shifted from will they make it to they already chose to. There's an elegance to the way Sinem has held herself through all this. She has always been the kind of woman who lets her work speak, who finds no need to decorate her feelings for public consumption. When asked, she smiled, a silent answer, with all the resonance in the world. Those close to her said that behind closed doors she looked moved, like someone listening to a melody written just for her. It's the kind of reaction that doesn't need a caption because it lives beyond language. Ozan, for his part, didn't try to dramatize what doesn't need drama. He's long balanced the demands of fame with the simplicity of a personal life built on trust. And now, after a season of conjecture, he spread clarity like a warm light. Not everything needs to be solved, but love, when real, is worth being named. He named it. He placed it in the open. And in doing so, he returned dignity to a story that people were trying to spin. The beauty of their journey is that it reminds the audience of what they loved about them in the first place. When they act together, the chemistry wraps the scene in an invisible thread. When they stand apart, there's still a sense of conversation between them, a rhythm that keeps time even when the music stops. That's what makes this confession land with such weight. It isn't a surprise plot twist. It's a gentle reaffirmation of the truth their fans believed all along. If you scroll through the reactions, you'll see words like pure, brave, timeless. You'll see people sharing their favorite moments, the glance behind the joke, the shared laugh between takes, the way a difficult scene became tender because of the trust that exists when two people are more than co-stars. You'll also see gratitude. Gratitude that in a world of loud gestures, they chose honesty. Gratitude that someone as admired as Ozan would peel back the curtain for a moment and say, "This is what matters to me." Meanwhile, the tabloids that once asked, "Are they drifting?" have run out of breath. The answer is in plain sight. One could say this moment is less about fighting the old story and more about telling the truer one. The long arc, after all, is simple. They met in the light of a set, their connection crossed into everyday life, they protected it like something precious, and when the noise grew too large, he said the single sentence that made everything make sense. "I only fell in love with Sinem." It's not just romantic. It's decisive. Sources close to them insist that the daily rhythm of their life remains steady, shared routines, overlapping projects, private celebrations that don't need witnesses. No tension, no staged reconciliations, just the quiet persistence of choosing each other. It may not be flashy, but it's real, and that's what gives this moment its glow. And now, the conversation feels different. The gossip cycle, so often chasing shadows, has been given a heartbeat to follow. Fans, too, are walking away from this week feeling a little lighter, a little more certain that some stories really do move beyond the set and find a home in the world. Their love is not a rumor to be solved, it's a chapter to be respected. As we close tonight, one truth remains: in a landscape that changes with every headline, sincerity still wins. Ozan took a risk by speaking so plainly, and that very simplicity turned into strength. Sinem received it with grace. Together, they reminded us why some love stories endure, not because they are perfect, but because two people keep saying yes, in private first, and then, when it matters, out loud. This is where we leave you for now. If you felt the same shiver we did hearing those words, if you believed in their spark and now feel it brighter than ever, don't forget to subscribe to Turkish Series Stars and share this video with those who still believe in moments that change everything. Thank you for watching, for listening, and for staying with us through the quiet and the storm. Until next time, keep your heart open, and keep your eyes on the stories that prove love can still surprise us. And remember, the world may talk, the headlines may whirl, but the sentence that will echo for a long time is simple and unwavering. He said it once, and he didn't need to say it twice. He only fell in love with Sinem. Thank you for being here with Turkish Series Stars. See you soon.